All right, guys. So what I want to talk about today is pretty much what a real trading year looks like. Now, you guys are not stupid. You guys understand that trading comes with wins and losses, both of them. But I did just want to show some data. This is actually Andre's data, and show you what his year looked like in 2025. He had a little bit of a better performance than I did, so I'm pulling up his data, showing you exactly what goes on pretty much inside the mind of a trader once he goes through certain periods, but also showing you what realistic trading is. So let's say, for example, a trader has a 1 to 3 RR with an average win rate of, let's say, 35%. We take on average around 200, let's say 250 trades a year. And then let's see what that looks like if we look at some data. First things first, we got to understand, and I'm assuming you guys already know this for sure, there's not a single equity curve in the world that goes like that. The only equity curves that go like that are the people who are trying to sell you into some bullshit. Because there's people claiming that you can avoid losses, etc., and claiming that an equity curve can go like that, or even like that, really, which is just not true. So I'm going to show you Andre's data now, show you what he had in 2025, and break it down a little bit. So first things first, we see there's 183 trades that have been taken. What is that? That's an average around 18 to 20 trades a month. Let's say 16 to 20. Let's give that range. It's around 16 to 20 trades a month, which is a little bit low for me. I'm personally a little bit on the higher side, but that doesn't matter. 58.48% win rate. Well, that obviously includes break evens. So let's exclude that. Let's remove the break evens. You're looking more at 37 to 39% win rate, which is really solid. Let's say 38, somewhere in the middle. Ended up with around 39 RR profit, which is really good because 2025 was a little bit of a tough year. 13% max drawdown. And then now what we see here is very interesting. There's a couple of interesting facts that I want to break down and I want to talk about. So Andre here says, I had 3 losing months and 2 break-even months. My biggest streak of not seeing a winner at all was 20 trades. Now this is crucial because there's so many traders who do not understand this. He had 3 losing months and 2 break-even months. What does that mean? Well, there's 12 months in a year, as you guys know. That means that there's 5 months, literally 5 months, in which there's no money being made at all, leaving you with literally 7 months to account for all the profit that you made that year. So many people don't understand this. That means that you're almost for the half a year, you're not making money. You're just surviving until your edge starts working again. So many people never give that edge the time it needs because within those 5 months, they'll have tried 3 different strategies already and have changed their approach to the strategy a billion times. So many people do that, and it's just unfortunate because it's a waste, really. So what I want to say with this is 7 months is all you need to make 40R in profit. That's 80% if you're risking 2%. 40R in profit and you only need 7 months. You don't need the full 12 months. You don't need win after win after win. And that's really important to understand is you're gonna go through a period of drawdown. Every single trader, every person watching this is going to have a period in which maybe for 6 to 8 or maybe even longer weeks, they are losing money. It might take you 6 weeks of continuously losing money and you're not doing anything wrong in that period. You're literally letting your edge play out. Now, let's take a look here. Actually, that's a great example because what we see here is the number of trades, right? We see pretty much trade number 1 all the way until trade number 183. Trade number 1, we're at 0. Look at trade number 36. We're back at 0. So we've taken 36 trades and we are now at 0. Yet he made 40R. So that shows you that a losing streak is not a bad thing. It's something that's part of the strategy. Now, what a lot of traders do is they'll switch strategies at this point. But this is literally part of it. This is what you have to go through and what you have to sit through in order to actually make it. Because at the end of the year, this ends up being a beautiful equity curve. But within that equity curve, there's periods of sometimes, let's say all the way from trade number 64 to trade number 85, you're not really making any profit. In fact, you're just losing money. Does that mean you've got to try to avoid all these trades? No, that means you've got to sit through it and let the edge play out. Eventually here in August, you got a longer period of time, which is probably, what is that, around a month and a half, maybe 6, 7 weeks. of you not making any money. So from trade number, what is that, 127, all the way until trade number 169, you're not exceeding your previous high at all. And that's, what is that? That's 25 to 30 or 40 trades even that you got to sit through. And that's the hardest thing for a lot of traders. And that's kind of what I want you to realize. You can tell yourself, I'm a trader, I'm a profitable trader, but I'm going to have sometimes 5 or 6 weeks of losing trades, of not making any money. Also, I'm going to have a streak of sometimes 20 trades without getting a winning trade. We see here, Andre says, my biggest streak of not seeing a winner was 20 trades. That does not mean that you had a losing streak of 20 trades. That means 20 trades without having a winner. So 13 losses and 7 break-evens. You got to tell yourself, I'm going to be profitable, or I am profitable, but that also includes having a series of sometimes 20 to 30 trades of me not getting any winning trades. That's what that includes. And that's the truth. And that's something that a lot of people don't seem to understand is if you want to be a profitable trader, you have to sit through these periods of drawdown, of not making any money without changing things up. There's a book that I'm reading, and it said this as well, is how many people give something an entire year to play out. That's all you need. Just give it a year, a full year of making absolutely zero changes, looking at zero Instagram gurus that are all showing you Lamborghinis and all that bullshit, and literally just focusing on yourself and your data for an entire year, not changing things up, doing something exactly the same for an entire year. I bet you the majority of people on the internet have never done this, and that's why they're unprofitable. But sitting through that for an entire year, not making any judgments, not trying to avoid anything, not making any changes, zero changes, zero judgments, just letting it play out for an entire year. Try to disassociate yourself from, this does not have to be a profitable year. I'm just going to be testing or trading the strategy for an entire year without any changes. And 9 out of 10 times, you'll come out profitable. But the truth is, barely anyone does that. Barely anyone sticks to it like that. Andre says, I cannot break 30R for 3 months, always going up and down. So I'm assuming that's it period over here. What you see, you're pretty much going down, up, down, up, down. Eventually you're going up, but you go down a little bit, and boom. Only then do we exceed our previous high. So that's a period of 3 months of him not exceeding his previous high. Very interesting. He says his worst month is August with a gain of 6% or negative 6%, and his best month was July. So the month after his best month was his worst month. So July had 18% gain. August was negative 6. So July, the month before August, was his best month, and then followed by a terrible month right after. You know, it's funny, you see a lot of emotions because a lot of traders in July will feel very euphoric and will feel very entitled and as if they're the best traders on earth. And then boom, 4 weeks later, you just had your worst month of the year and you feel like you have to change things. You feel like you have to change your strategy, etc., etc. So many people are like that. Okay, on a 200K account, this would have been around an $80,000 gain. If you had, for example, 400K, that'd be 160K, etc. So it's a pretty significant amount, obviously. And these are all live trades. So what I want you to take away from this is I want you to understand that, and I want you to tell yourself, I'm a profitable trader, but I'm going to go through 6, 7, 8 weeks of not making any money. I'm going to have a period in which I don't make any money, in fact, in which I lose money, and I'm going to have to sit through that without changing anything. I'm going to have years in which I do not make any money for 5 months, and I've only got 7 months to actually make up for that. Now, I'll admit, 2025 was a little bit of a rough year. It wasn't the best year in terms of trading. The year before was a lot better, so it definitely was a hard year. However, that does not take away that you should convince yourself as a trader, I'm going to have periods of drawdown. And I know that me being profitable includes me sitting through these months of not making any money. Me being profitable means me having 6, 7, 8 weeks of not winning any trades. Me being profitable also means sometimes taking 20 or 30 trades and not getting a single winning trade. It also means getting trades that run so close to your target. Let's say you're in a long position here that gets so close to your target and then boom, reverses. That's also what that includes. Me being a profitable trader means I'm going to get stopped out maybe instantly 5 times in a row. Whenever I'm looking at a long position, boom, I get stopped out. I get stopped out 5 times in a row instantly. Me being a profitable trader, like I said, includes getting into an entry, it moving sideways for 2 weeks, then going close to target, and then boom, going back to my break even or my stop loss level. That's what being a profitable trader all includes. All of that is included in being a profitable trader. And that's what you got to tell yourself. Okay, I'm going to be trading profitably, so this and this and this is all going to be part of that. So whenever you're going through that, you can remind yourself, I'm going through this right now, but I know that all of this is part of it. I know that this is something that completely encapsulates the whole pretty much profession that is trading. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys understand, and I hope you guys realize, and I hope you guys start using those affirmations and telling yourself that this is the truth, because this is really the way that it is. This is the way that this field works. And I want you guys to understand that, because it's so, so incredibly important. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.